Shalom, brothers and sisters. It is days before Passover. This article came out yesterday, and it's what I've been talking about, the increased violence between the two groups, the tensions rising, the terrorists attack, everything that's happening, that the far-right Jews have now published this and come up with this. So let's just read this article and discuss it. The time has come to sacrifice the Passover lamb on the Temple Mount. Jewish group issues urgent call to restore the biblical sacrifice amid renewed Palestinian terrorism. Israel is under attack. Terrorists are coming out of their lairs, murdering Jews all across Israel. We cannot wait any longer. Now we must sacrifice the Passover lamb on the Temple Mount where the Holy of Holies still stands to put an end to the terror and make peace with the Most High God. This is an actual appeal now spreading around the country by a Jewish movement called Back to the Temple Mount, calling for the sacrifice of a Passover lamb on the Temple Mount on Passover Eve, this Friday night as the Sabbath begins April 15th. The movement is asking Jewish people to do everything possible to make the Passover sacrifice on the Jewish Temple Mount on the very spot where the Holy of Holies once stood 2,000 years ago. The group says this is the only way to gain God's favor and protection for the Jewish people from the plague of terror now hitting Israel, just like when God passed over the children of Israel in Egypt on the first Passover Eve. But making a sacrifice on the Temple Mount is not going to be easy. For a Jew to even go to Temple Mount, let alone when Muslims are at the same time celebrating their holy days of Ramadan, is not simple. But a Jew going up and sacrificing a live lamb on Temple Mount at a time when Ramadan and the Jewish Passovers collide, that by itself would be a miracle and perhaps a sign of the coming Messiah. Anyway, the organizers understand the risks involved in getting a lamb up Temple Mount and making a sacrifice, so they're offering financial incentives. Anyone arrested attempting this will receive compensation to the amount of 400 shekels, $125. Anyone arrested with a lamb will receive 800 shekels, $250. Anyone succeeding in offering a Passover sacrifice on Temple Mount will be rewarded with 10,000 shekels, $3,125. Since it's nearly impossible at any time to smuggle a lamb through security entrances to the Western Wall, let alone for a Jew to bring one up the heavily guarded Temple Mount during Ramadan, the price for the third option is much higher. Palestinian media have been raising warnings about the sacrifice of a Passover lamb on Temple Mount and made this poster in Arabic, where they explain the incentives discussed and offered for this taking place on this Passover. And of course, Hamas and the Islamic Jihad are sending out militant warnings, saying that Jews plan to storm Al-Aqsa Mosque on April 15th, the eve of the Passover Seder meal. All roads point to trouble with Passover, Ramadan, recent terror attacks across the country, and Israeli security forces aggressively hunting down hostile militants in Arab and Palestinian towns, all coinciding. Ramadan is always a time of increased tension in Israel, but this year, coinciding with Passover, with bloody terror attacks on everyone's mind, it looks like the perfect storm is brewing for this holiday. So, again, I really think something big could go down. Bad things can happen. A war can break out again. Rockets can start flying again. Who knows? But something big, especially now that the right and the outspoken on the Jewish side are going this far. They are literally ready to take back their Temple Mount, especially after the desecration of Joseph's tomb, which, by the way, within a few days was completely fixed and restored. It doesn't even look like it was ever attacked or set on fire. Amazing. But that just fueled the spark for these people to push even harder and say, you know what, enough is enough. It's now time. We need our temple back. We need our sacrifices back. And that is a recipe for a huge clash in the following days. So keep your eyes on it. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and Jerusalem, and just pray for the Jews as a nation that they will meet their Messiah, and pray for all those that are still lost, that their eyes will open and they will see what's going on in the world around them. We keep our eyes on Israel, God's clock, and we keep our eyes on the cloud, especially with Passover and so many prevalent signs and warnings and everything coming at us. Let us celebrate the feasts of the Lord and be ready for Him when He comes to collect us. Have a fantastic day. Shalom.